I want to go on record saying this from the very beginning. I believe we knew what it was 4 years ago. We did. You don't get a permaban from a platform where you are signed to a multi-million-dollar contract, and then they permabanned him, and it went down in secrecy and in silence. You don't do that unless it's crime or other high level harmful type of thing. We knew it. That is always what it is. And so the thing I have a problem with is not that Dr. Disrespect was guilty, but the fact that we live in a world where men and women, and especially the men though, will cover the asses of sexually abusive men and pretend like it didn't happen. If you get famous enough and you're a white man with enough money, boy, people will bend over backwards trying to excuse the criminal behavior you do. It's super gross. And this is the stuff we're dealing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is Dr. Disrespect times 50, and people are still gonna vote for that MFer. That's on us, bro, as a society. Our society is whacked out to defend these guys. All right, that's my opening statement. Dude, I can't believe he gets 91,000 likes for this. Who's liking this? Seriously, I need to know. What MFer is hitting the like button on this? This is Dr. Disrespect's statement, but obviously this statement is partially a crisis PR person and a lawyer. So here's the Bloomberg article. This is what kicked it off. This article came out first. Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch after exchanging inappropriate messages with a minor, according to 3 sources with knowledge. Now, those 3 sources are not Cody Connors. A report was made through Twitch systems. My report confirms a 4th person's allegations posted to X Friday. So they had 4 people. And now this is important details here. The report was made through Twitch systems. So apparently it came, I'm guessing, from maybe the girl herself. I don't know. But this dropped this morning. This was the big news. The reasons for the banishment from Twitch were never given, but 3 people with knowledge of the matter said Beahm was removed because he exchanged sexually explicit messages with a minor through the service's direct chat feature. He also asked a minor about her plans at the TwitchCon convention, according to 2 of the people who asked not to be identified discussing such a sensitive matter. A complaint was later filed with Twitch through its reporting system. In a post Tuesday on Twitter, Beahm, who is 42, acknowledged engaging in conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate. Dude, what a word salad is that? He says nothing illegal happened. Okay, blah. But again, no one cares about the illegality here. Okay, that nothing illegal happened. Something super gross happened. An insane power dynamic from a married man, mind you. A married, almost 40-year-old dude at the time. Beam's departure from Twitch and Discord and his reemergence on YouTube show social media companies continue to grapple with allegations of bad behavior by online stars who helped them generate millions of dollars in revenue. See, that's just it. He was able to go to YouTube and just make millions more dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does this guy get to do this and just gets to hush it and slide over to another platform? It's like what the cops do. Cops will groom and abuse young women, and they'll get in trouble for it, and then they leave the department and they just go get a job at another police department. This stuff doesn't follow them. It doesn't haunt them, but the damage does haunt the people it happens to. They just keep getting taken care of. They keep getting these free passes to go earn some more. It's disgusting. Beahm, who attracted 4.5 million fans to his Call of Duty gameplay, had settled a legal dispute with the service, adding that no party admits to any wrongdoing. Whenever you see that language, you know there was wrongdoing. I have never once seen this legalese language in something where there wasn't some kind of wrongdoing. It really bothers me. And again, this is the issue that we have with our capitalist judicial system, if you will, is that people who have enough money and people who have enough power are able to commit crimes or do things wildly inappropriate that would devastate a normal person's life. And they're able to hide it in these settlements, in NDAs, in these no party admits to wrongdoing, et cetera, et cetera. And they pay money and they're able to just make stuff go away. And we're never going to have a just world until we take this privilege away from the wealthy. So this came out first, and then Dr. Disrespect comes out. He decided he's going to try and jump ahead of this thing. Now, again, part of this is Dr. Disrespect. Part of this is a very high-paid PR crisis person. This is yet another situation where these guys, Dr. Disrespect is working with lawyers. He's got high-paid crisis PR people, maybe more than one. And they've all been working diligently over the weekend to figure out how to approach this, monitoring who knows what, getting the scoop on what's coming out. And the minute that story dropped on Bloomberg, they were crafting this. They may have already previously crafted it. Now, I guess Dr. Disrespect did edit the word minor out, and then he put it back in. But again, every time I see one of these major apologies, it's really hard to process because this is all a game, bro. Something happens, like when Logan Paul put that dead body on YouTube. He had an 8-hour meeting with crisis PR people and lawyers that crafted his response. The game is, how do we soften the blow and make this so you're asking for forgiveness and taking a little bit of responsibility and saying all the right and still able to cull the fame later after it dies down. It's a process that all of these wealthy, high-profile people that have access to crisis PR people, this is what they do. They're able to jump around these scandals. So here's his statement. He says, the Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. And then he jumps right in. Let's cut the bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. So there he is. He's starting it off with a little preemptive, no filter. You know me, I'm the doc. I'm going to tell you like it is. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. But no, he could have accepted responsibility earlier. He could have said this before this Bloomberg article came out. He absolutely could have. No one would have ate his lunch for breaking the NDA, for admitting it, or even admitting it back then. Come on, bro. He's known for years. And in fact, not only did he not say, he sued them and got a paycheck out of it. He was abusive and toxic and then went and got money that he felt like he deserved. He could have taken responsibility before that lawsuit. He says, first and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. All right. Then he says, a lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society. And we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. He did not step down, mind you. Midnight Society terminated their relationship with him. He did not step down. But again, he's trying to pad that. He says, our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. But I mean, how true is that though? Because he knew he had this in his backpack and he started this company. But dude, that's the thing that's really interesting when you think about it, is what kind of a guy engages in inappropriate behavior with a minor, gets caught, gets permabanned, where the rumors are flying, all these accusations are out there. He knows he did it. Then he sues the company to make them pay out some of his contract. And then he just acts like it never happened. And then years later, when it comes up, he denies it again until he's completely cooked. And then he comes out and admits it. But what kind of a sociopath does this? You know what I mean? You have to be a real sociopath to engage in that behavior, to just be able to block that out. We're talking Ted Bundy level. Yeah, no, there's no remorse here. The only remorse is him getting caught. Okay, now he says here, everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, he's such a victim. I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. And AKA, what he's saying is now that he's cooked and he realized this is going down, he's going to try and weasel whatever he can out of it. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Now, here we go, though. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. So you know what he's saying here? He's trying to say, well, I sent some sexually inappropriate messages to this minor, but he never really intended to act on those messages. There were no real intentions, right? He wasn't going to do anything. He was just playing like he was, what, for the minor's benefit? Dude, yeah, no, that is some heavy duty BS, right? And that is a classic predatory response. But dude, this is so phony. Even the way he says this, he says, were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. But you notice what he's done is he's depersonalized it. He's not even talking about his behavior. He's saying, were there messages? Yeah, there's some messages out there. These non-human things exist. But were there any real intentions behind it? No, the messages exist, but the subject of the messages doesn't really exist. You see the wordplay here? He's talking about the messages and the intentions as if they have nothing to do with him, right? It's not about Dr. Disrespect and this person. It's about this individual minor and some messages and some intentions. He's like removing himself. And then he goes on to say these were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. And again, he's not talking about him or his behavior. He's talking about the conversations as though they're this other thing. You see this? This is a technique. This is a technique used to evade responsibility. It's super toxic, right? It's classic, bro. This message he's writing here is abusive. He's being abusive in this message. And then he goes on to say nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual, is what he says. Now he includes himself into it, but he only includes himself in it in a scot-free way. You notice that when he was discussing the thing with the individual minor, in his whole admission here, he never once talked about him or I or his own behavior. He didn't bring him into it until he was quantifying how he didn't do anything wrong. You see that? It's very subtle, but man, it speaks volumes. And then now he's in the I. He went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. But again, the criminal charges aren't the important part. Many, many heinous, life-wrecking things have happened without criminal charges. And in fact, in most cases of sexual abuse and rape, there's never any criminal charges. This paragraph right here is just classic abuser mentality. The first half where he's talking about the actions, it's depersonalized, it's the messages, the conversations, there's no intentions, there's no real people. And then when he gets to the part where nothing was committed and no wrongdoing was done, there he's like, now we're talking about me, right? Dude, this is like sexual abuser 101, bro. I swear to you. Now, here's where he goes on. From a moral standpoint, he'll absolutely take responsibility. Now, what does he mean by that line there? From a moral standpoint, he'll take responsibility. But what other standpoint is there? Like, what's the other standpoint? There isn't one, Docky. What are you even talking about, bro? He says, from a moral standpoint, he'll absolutely take responsibility, but I disagree because he didn't. He showed you how he feels in this paragraph. This paragraph was not written by somebody who takes responsibility. This paragraph was written by somebody that is trying to eke their way out and be able to make more millions after this blows over. He says, I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. Entertained these conversations. He didn't entertain, he participated in one. And in fact, he probably initiated it. He says, that's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. Oh, yeah, no shit. Thanks for the wisdom, Doc. Appreciate that wisdom there, buddy. He says, I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll own my shit. This was stupid. He wants to say he's not perfect. Now, he says, with all this said, don't get it mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. He says he's no predator file. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me knows where I stand on those things, and with those types of people, that's a different level of disgust. He hates even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the out of here with that. So now here is his insistence that what he did was bad, but social media is really making this seem worse than it is. Now, I want to go on the record here, okay, and say something. The people that do these sort of crimes, they're not like these evil demons. A lot of times they're wealthy, respected members of the community. They're the leaders of their church or congressional people or the CEOs of businesses. They're trusted adults that you would never suspect that engage in this type of behavior because these crimes are about power. They're not about sex. Sexual molestation and rape and sexual abuse is not about the sex. It's about power. And specifically when it's an older person and a minor or a very young kid, it is even more so about that power dynamic. It's about the powerful man having all this control and being in such a dominant position where he's taking the purity from this innocent person and in complete control. It's a power thing, which is why this really happens a lot with these guys that have a lot of money and a lot of power out in the real world. They cross those barriers. So this whole paragraph is kind of meaningless. Obviously, Doc, though, he's a power monger. He's sociopathic enough to go sue Twitch for money after he finds out that they caught him. And then he goes and cheats on his wife. And then he's out there talking about LGBTQ people and mouthing off the whole time he knows he's a degenerate. Now he goes on here. Trust me when I say this to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience. I don't give a about you. So now he's like anybody who basically holds him responsible for this. He's like, you guys, finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement, think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not going anywhere, he says. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, right. So now at the end of it here, he's kind of turned himself into this, like a noble figure now that's not going to be ruined by all these haters on the internet. Isn't that wild? And dude, 93,000 likes though. You know what I'm saying? This is some Trumpian bullshit right here. This is how they spin it. So one of the things though that needs to be said about this, because there has been a campaign, a big one, by evangelicals, right-wing Christians in America to portray gay folks, LGBTQ people, trans people, and their allies as though they're groomers, they're pedophiles, they're dangerous, etc. But those are MFing lies. They are. There's no evidence to support that. There's no truth to that. Time and time again, it is a wealthy, powerful, white man usually. Seriously, a wealthy, powerful white man that is usually engaging in this behavior. Ninja's statement on this was the one that absolutely made the most sense.
To touch on some things lately, guys. Obviously, there's been a lot of drama that's been going on, not involving me, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And I just got two things to say, and then we're just gonna move on and keep playing Fortnite. All right, number one, anything involving a minor at all, no matter what it is not okay. It's messed up and it's illegal. And it's pretty simple. So especially if you, all right, I'm not going to get too much into detail about that, but like, come on, it's a no-brainer, right? That's number one. And number two, with the whole doc situation and just what's been released these last 2 days, like,
we knew.
Here's what I'll point out.
This is
for now,
sensible.
And that is, if you guys don't know, Midnight Society, which is the game that Doc helped build, right, and create, and he was a part of the company, did their own investigative research behind the scenes.
And then they terminated the relationship.
Found enough, right? Found enough evidence to let him go from the company.
Yeah, and that was really important, too. What Midnight Society did yesterday is they were very clear. We assumed he was innocent. We did the research. Now we're terminating our relationship with him. So we knew this yesterday. And people were still like, stumping for the old Doc. It was so obvious.
Not administrative leave. Not, we'll address this later.
Yeah, it was, you're gone.
Like, let him go after doing their own research, right? And after doing their own internal investigation.
Super telling.
So, like, if that's not enough, right, evidence or enough to, like, they found something is what I'm trying to say.
The point being, though, everyone in the comments of that were saying there's no evidence. But it's like their investigation and terminating was the evidence that something very inappropriate, highly inappropriate went on, right? This idea that we can't look at the evidence that we do see, but that you got to see the message itself. I mean, sometimes there's pretty clear evidence, now, right in front of you.
Like, I've seen a bunch of clips out there. I've seen a bunch of stuff from XQC, like, who said apparently there's more stuff coming out. So until then, it's only been 2 days into the situation. So let's just wait until we see more. But, like, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saying I didn't do anything illegal or, like, there was no wrongdoing. I mean, a lawsuit at the end of the day, not a lawsuit, but a settlement. It talks about a settlement, no matter what it looks like publicly,
is something went on.
It usually means someone did something.
It did.
Right? Or there was some truth to some.
There is no legal settlement. Okay. There's never a legal settlement without some type of impropriety having gone on. I know there's this idea that is hard baked into patriarchal culture. And you guys, I know you've seen this too. There's this idea that women make accusations and then guys have legal settlements just to make the woman go away. And that women are saying fake shit in order to get some money. And then the guys are just paying the money to make them go away. But dude, 99.99999% of the time, that is not what goes on. Nobody pays a settlement unless there is a danger of something coming out. People don't give away millions of dollars just to make someone shut up unless what they're talking about is truly dangerous.
You settle to not let things get out there.
But anyway, so there we go. Now we get Nickmercs here, the guy with the worst character. 2 days in a row of him with no shirt on. Dude, homie needs a neck. But again, one thing that I do like about this is I like how we all know that Nickmercs, he's a terrible judge of character, bro. Like when this guy says nasty about LGBTQ people, we know that he's full of because he couldn't even see the forest for the trees with his own supposed friend. This guy won't even put an investigative report together to be able to find out the truth about somebody in his orbit, much less to be able to find out the truth or the judgment about an entire group of people whom he's never met or doesn't know, right? Like Nick, you boss. We know your game, bro. We know your game. You're a phony, dude. You are.
Checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that, he was texting an underage girl. It went weird sometimes, and look.
Dude, it went weird sometimes. Dude, what? Dude, what is this? Dude, Nick, shave your face, bro. It went weird sometimes, bro. Jesus. Yeah, more or less admitting here that Nick is a terrible judge of character.
and it went weird sometimes, and
he's like, like sometimes when you're texting, it goes weird. You know how it goes, right? All right, yeah. Dickie.
He was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do, So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
Now, see, here's the thing that's interesting, though. You ready? Is I want to compare and contrast, because you notice that, right? What can you do? He's all soft. He's like, the guys and I are real broken up about it. But now let's go and look at what he was saying the other day. What he says about the LGBTQ people who've done nothing. This is from a couple days ago when he first heard about Doc. But listen to the animosity here he has for the LGBTQ, the gay and trans people who've done nothing. They haven't betrayed his friendship. They haven't put him in the center of some sort of crazy with their behavior. They've done nothing to him. But look at the animosity here when he's talking about gay people.
Checking in. Look, I opened Twitter. Bunch of my mentions are he, they, she, hey, they. I identify as a helicopter. God damn it. And I seen the couple tweets about the doc. I'm as taken back as a lot of you guys are, okay? But the fact remains that these are some crazy accusations. Crazy. Big time accusations. And until we know more, until we know them as fact, until they've been proven with evidence, what are we talking about? What's anybody talking about? As far as the leave little kids alone stuff, this doesn't make it any further from the truth. Leave little children out of your shit. Have a nice day.
You see that? Look at that. Look at all that anger, all that rage. And when he says leave little children out of your shit, the funny thing is the people in schools with pride flags, all they're doing is making sure that people like this motherfucker don't beat up the gay kids. That people don't give this kind of energy to the gay kids for doing nothing. For doing nothing but showing up. But you got some angry, no-necked motherfucker like Nickmercs over here, Dickie Mercs, who's coming and being like, you get the away from me with all that anger and rage. But look at the doc.
I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do? So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling.
What can you do?
And look, like, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
He's like, what can you do? Right? What can you do? Like, like my friend's a predator. What can you do? Right? Not much we could do. But I just wanted to point that out because I wanted to point out the difference in energy, how two different guys show up when it's, a guy who's actually committed improprieties that is very close in his circle. It should be so meaningful to him that his buddy is doing this shit. But he's like so, calm and warm and what can you do? But here, as far as like any animosity towards the gay people, like, you guys are the devil. It's very interesting. The two sides to that coin. I think it's just interesting to notice that. With Tim, I had a problem with the word if. I do. Now I get it. These guys are getting rocked, but I'm still a little surprised that these guys didn't do a little due diligence about their friend 4 years ago. If I'm good friends with somebody and there's a scandal and they're removed from the biggest streaming platform on the planet, and there's all these rumors circulating, and, Slasher, Rod Breslow's career kind of got ruined because of him speaking out about the rumors, because everybody jumped all over his ass. And they never did any due diligence to look into that, to be like, Doc, like, I need to know, bro, before our friendship can go further. I need to know what really went on. They're just like, nah, whatever. Oh, you got banned. There's a huge scandal. People are talking about minors and shit. Nah, forget all that, Doc. Let's go golfing, right? That's weird, bro, because these are the same guys who are like anti-LGBTQ. When a trans person tries to go to the bathroom, this person's dangerous, but they won't even inquire with their own friend about a scandal. Like, that's pretty weak, man. All right, but here we go. Let's look at Tim's.
Wow, this is absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing. I have known Doc for a while now. We've played games for years, and seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult thing for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate.
Teeter on.
If he knew.
It's teetering on if, right? I mean, dude, the if, bro, that if is real problematic.
That was
bro.
A minor. And those were the messages being sent. I cannot support that.
So he's like, so Tim's out here saying, you know, if what the doc said is true, I'm going to minimize it here. If he knew her age or their age, and if these things were teetering on inappropriate. Sometimes, you know, if it goes a little weird, you know, what are we going to do? But
I can't. I appreciate y'all. This is beating me up, but this is unfortunate to say the least. This is awful. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love you give, and I'll see y'all soon, man.
Right, and look at this guy, though. This guy's response is so trashy. Until we know what was said, it's hard for him to have a hardcore stance, right? But again, though, even when they know what was said, nobody cares. I mean, look at Trump. Trump has openly said he grabs him by the... He doesn't even ask. He just goes in there and sexually assaults women, and nobody cares. And look at what he said here. Men talk to women every day at work inappropriately. Yes, women, not minors. I get that. Trust me, I just hate the way everyone rushes to speculation and assumptions. But like, this jackhole doesn't seem to understand that men talking to women every day at work inappropriately is problematic, bro. Like, Shawn Michael, you dumbass. Like, how dumb are these people, dude? I'm bookmarking that. I'm going to have to screenshot that. That's the winning argument. But for me, though, guys, it really came down to this paragraph, guys, when he's talking about what he did, but there's no I. There's no doc. It's all impersonal. And then down here in the part where it's nothing illegal happened, no crimes were committed, I never even met them, then it's like doc. It's the depersonalization of the actual event and the personalization only of how he didn't really do anything wrong. This guy's a sociopath, and he's not taking responsibility for it. And he doesn't feel bad. He's just upset that he got caught. And he wants to make sure he's got an inroad to keeping that power and money coming after he rides out this scandal. Well, so here's the thing, though. You're incorrect, boss. You need to check that opinion, because your idea that under 18 shouldn't be allowed on social media to protect them, no. We should create adults that aren't predatory. You don't need to protect the kids. You just need to not be predatory adults. That's it.